When people hear the name Sun Tzu, most think of battlefields, generals, and strategy quotes circulating on social media. In fact, we often see people mentioning him even if they've never actually read The Art of War. But the truth is, Sun Tzu is largely misunderstood. His main concern wasn't winning battles. He saw war itself as a problem, and he approached it not from the perspective of honor, glory, or heroism, but in terms of cost. During Sun Tzu's time, China was constantly at war. The kingdoms were fragmented, each believing it could unify the world. In pursuit of this, treasuries were drained, taxes were raised, and the population became increasingly impoverished. Wars were no longer short, symbolic skirmishes. Armies grew larger, logistics became more complex, and the economic capacity of states was severely strained. When a king sent his army into the field, he was essentially mortgaging his future, and often he couldn't pay the debt. For this reason, Sun Tzu saw a state's own expenditures as a greater threat than the enemy. To him, what could destroy a state wasn't the opposing army, but the economic collapse caused by prolonged and costly wars. In the West, Sun Tzu is often portrayed as a wise philosopher or a mysterious strategist. In reality, he was much closer to a modern risk manager, analyzing numbers, timelines, resources, and sustainability. The statement at the beginning of The Art of War, "War is of vital importance to the state," is often misinterpreted. He wasn't talking about the nobility or honor of war. Vital meant dangerous. Mismanaged, war could destroy everything that keeps a state standing. The rest of the book isn't about how to win a war, but about how to contain it, control it, and keep it as inexpensive as possible. Even Sun Tzu's most famous ideas are grounded in economic logic. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting is not mystical advice. It is the purest form of cost avoidance. When he says prolonged warfare benefits no nation, it is not a moral lesson, but a direct statement of budgetary truth. The longer a war drags on, the faster it erodes a state's ability to function. This is why speed, intelligence, deception, and psychological pressure were so important to Sun Tzu. They are all far cheaper tools than armies. Feeding, transporting, and maintaining an army in the field is extremely costly. Every passing day drains the treasury. For Sun Tzu, logistics were not a support for strategy, they were strategy. The reason logistics occupies so much of The Art of War is clear. Sun Tzu explains how distance increases costs and how prolonged campaigns devastate agriculture and production. He even considers using enemy resources not just clever, but economically necessary. Commanders who waste resources may win small skirmishes, but they bankrupt their states. His emphasis on intelligence reflects the same logic. Information is more valuable than force because it is cheaper. A single piece of accurate intelligence can prevent an entire army from marching in the wrong direction. What we call data today was, in the ancient world, the key to survival. Bad information leads to bad decisions, which leads to bad investments. Sun Tzu's stress on speed is also economic. The faster an army achieves its objective, the fewer resources it consumes. A delayed victory is wasted money. A maneuvered victory is far cheaper than a war of attrition. Flexibility and adaptability were not philosophical ideals to him, but tools of fiscal discipline. Sun Tzu was not against war itself, he was against waste. He saw that unnecessary conflicts, ego-driven campaigns, and prolonged battles could destroy states. He praised generals who could win without bloodshed. Diplomacy, alliances, intimidation, and redirection were, in his eyes, not secondary strategies. They were the primary ones because they preserved state resources. History has repeatedly proven the wisdom of this approach. Many empires collapsed not militarily, but economically. The modern world is no different. In Vietnam, Afghanistan, or World War I, it wasn't weak armies but failing economic models that caused defeat. Sun Tzu would have recognized this immediately. Even today, cyber warfare, sanctions, proxy wars, and covert operations follow the same logic. The goal is not direct confrontation, but economic attrition. Sun Tzu's balance sheet is still relevant. His core message is this: power is measured not by how hard you strike, but by how long you can stay standing. A state may win battles, but if its treasury collapses, it has lost. The wisest leader is the one who preserves resources. The best general is the one who avoids fighting. The strongest state acts wisely, not proudly. The Art of War is therefore not a book of courage, but a book of limits. It teaches when to stop and when not to act at all. Sun Tzu's genius lay in his refusal to separate economics from power. War is the most expensive policy decision a state can make, and those who miscalculate its cost are defeated not by their enemies, but by their own finances. I hope this story has offered you some insight. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe, because we'll explore more lessons history has to teach us.